Boom! There it is, ladies and gents. You know when that live button goes on, you just get so excited because you got your habits right, you got your health right, you got all the happiness you need, or maybe you're struggling with that. Let's get into today's episode and figure that out. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. There we go. All right, ladies and gents, let's drop this fire real quick. Who do we got on the show today? Well, did I just find the fountain of youth? Okay, maybe not quite that, but she is helping people live longer and better. Our guest helps her clients improve their Triple H, habits, health, and happiness. Now, she's going to share with us science-based solutions that she has used to help tens of thousands of people who feel like maybe they're spinning their wheels with little or no results. So if that sounds like you, then today's episode is the one you've been waiting for. So let's welcome to the show from Health Team Network, Dr. Pat Boulogne. All right, Dr. Pat, welcome to the show.
Welcome. That was fantastic. I love it.
Well, it's nothing but fun here. That's what we like to do. All right, well, let's get into this because it sounds like what you're telling people, what you're helping tens of thousands of people to do is to find three core things. And I want to know, like, nobody's really born that way, or maybe they are, but why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to know.
Well, I'm doing this. Actually, I retired. And in 2010, it occurred to me when I was walking through the streets of Boston that people were sick and they didn't know it. I mean, there was like nobody home. They were, just walking around. They're like slumped over. They didn't have good posture. They didn't look happy. They looked sick. Their skin tone was very poor. And I thought to myself, I'm going like, God, what is going on with these people? Because I had this dream to live in a big city. And, Boston was a great walking town. I wanted to get exercise. I got rid of my car. And I would sit periodically in this area called Post Office Square. And I would observe people. I'd watch them, of course, with my sunglasses on. And I just noticed like people were, they were very concentric. And it bothered me. So I started asking people like, you don't feel well, that type of thing. Are you okay? Because when I saw nobody home part, I'm going, what are you thinking of? And I go, share it with me. And people would tell me all sorts of things. Some people just like lit it all because they don't have anybody to talk to sometimes. And so it occurred to me, I'm going, God, this is not cool. It's just like, well, what is going on with these people that they're not paying attention to their health in their mind, in their body? There's got to be something that's missing in that. And then at the same time, I read an article that was released by the CDC. In that article in 2010, it said that 212 dangerous chemicals were found in the blood and urine of every American that they tested. And I'm thinking, no wonder they look sick. And, in the combination of that, they're being poisoned by their environment, by the foods that they're eating, by the air that they're breathing, by the food, like the exposure that they're getting from garden things and also from house cleaning type stuff. There's, all these things that are creating toxins, and the toxins get stored deep in the body when they get in there. And so I thought, there's got to be another solution. So that drove me back into going back to work and doing what I'm doing now and putting the pieces of the puzzle together for people so they can live longer, better, healthier, and happier.
Yeah, when you started to talk about the whole processed food type thing, the things that are kind of poisoning us, I saw this TikTok the other day that caught my attention. It said, you don't ever see any marketing material for the food that you probably should be eating. So like all the fresh produce, you don't really see marketing for that. There's no real need for markets. We know that they're good for us. All the marketing money and campaigns go towards things that have bigger profit margins, which are processed foods. So you're seeing a lot of people. I mean, we're in an age where they're in their screens anyways, right? So you were talking about disconnect early on, and then you couple that with dietary plans that are easy. Like, it's so inexpensive to grab some fast food versus going home and grabbing produce and making dinner. It's just the convenience factor is such an instantaneous society. I think part of it is
Yeah.
amazing, and part of it is really kind of taking us to a level that you were describing where we look like that, right?
Well, sometimes, you look like you're healthy, but it doesn't mean you are healthy. Health is not
Mm.
the absence of disease or infirmities, and according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it says that health is when your organs are functioning 100% of the time, but you don't know it. And most people don't do anything about that unless they're having significant signs and symptoms. Most of the 75% of men, this is a statistic from the American Heart Association, that 75% of men, do not realize they have heart disease until they have a heart attack and die.
Mm.
And because there's a lot of things that your body keeps on accommodating, keeps on adapting, and it's going to keep on doing it because that's the way we're made, to go forward. And you can keep on doing it for a while, but eventually something's got to give. I mean, when we eat food that destroys our gut, the foods that we eat get absorbed too soon. It goes into our blood system. From the blood system, it goes to the liver because that's what the liver does. It gets rid of crap out of your system. It gets rid of toxicity. And so it tries to put it back in the intestinal tract, or if it's small enough, into the kidneys to go to the bladder, and it's supposed to end up in the toilet. But so many times, because we're so overloaded with toxins that the liver gets overwhelmed, it stores it in blood, brain, bone, and fat. That's not a good thing. And so in having, in correcting that, you've got to take a look at, well, where's the glitch? I always first go to the gut. I always say, fix your gut, change your life. Fix your gut, change your life. It's like, even if you change your foods, you've got to take a look at what the other 5 pillars of your health are. So we gave the 2 definitions of health before. One actually was, the other one was, the first one I mentioned was from WHO, the World Health Organization. But there's 5 facets of health that are really important to pay attention to. The first one is diet and nutrition. They got to be simpatico. You have proper exercise, proper sleep, positive mental attitude, and the proper mindset. And then the last is what I call it, structure, function, proper posture, biomechanics, because that's where you have the brain encased in your skull, going down your spine, nerves coming out and communicating to every cell, organ, and tissue of the body. It's telling the body what to do. So the spinal alignment and the mechanics of that is so, so, so important to ultimate health. That's why you see a chiropractor, actually. And also, if you couple that with the mindset, this is my definition in my how do you get to success, and whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's your health, doesn't matter what it is. You've got to have a positive mindset and a positive mental attitude, plus wellness initiatives, which are the first 3 pillars that I just mentioned. And you have to, when you put those things together, then you have more opportunity to have success in the areas that I just mentioned. So you got to know where to start. And unfortunately, a lot of people have never been taught how to eat. They've never been taught how to choose food. They don't read labels. If you read a label and you can't pronounce what the ingredients on it, you shouldn't buy it and you shouldn't
Yeah.
eat it. I mean, and so many people are so addicted to sugar. It's more addictive than cocaine. That's proven. That I don't remember the statistic, but that's proven. And so if we keep on going this projectile path that we're going on, by 2030 is estimated that 50% of the population in the United States is going to have some type of chronic illness or disease.
It's scary. It's so scary. It reminds me of Wall-E from Disney, like that whole society that's living on a chair, like what else do you need? Today's color is blue or red or whatever was going on there. I mean, it's crazy times. At the same time, what you're saying makes sense, but it's not always the easiest thing. What about the people who, they've been living a certain lifestyle for the last 10, 20 years of their life, 30 years of their life? Is it too late to make that change? Like, if they come and talk to you, like, how do you explain to them what you do? Let me know, what is it that you do? How can you help those people?
What do you do?
Well, what I do is I'm a lifestyle strategist. So I take people's whatever their epigenetics, their profile is, whatever they're presenting with, and I have a specific questionnaire that I give that's in my book called "Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired?" which the second edition is coming out this week.
Nice.
And so I'm really excited about that on the 10th for the digital and the 15th for the soft copy. Anyway, what you do is you got to ask questions. That's what doctors used to do. They would ask questions. They would do a significant system survey, deep dive, because if you ask those questions, then you can find out how your body's expressing health at a given time. And so it can tell you, all the important things. It's like, so the book is like a guidebook. It's in a workbook. You don't go to a foreign country and not get hire the guide and or get a guidebook or not get, workbook. Like, what am I doing here? Like, where do I want to go see? What's going on? And so, and to get those answers correctly, you got to know the right questions to ask so you can get the right answers. Because if you're trained to just kind of go along with the flow, then you can expect nothing to happen and nothing's going to get better. But I tell people, it's like, do the questionnaire. I don't like to guess. And so I test and then I put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I test, don't guess. And so how you do this, you start at the basic level, like what is this going on? You got to find out what your basics are, like back to basics. There's a reason for them, because when people always go to that exact point is when crap is going on and you're not handling it well. You're having too many headaches. But then people think that sometimes that headaches are normal. They're not normal. Having floaters in your eye, they're not normal. Having bloating and having poops that stink to the high heavens is not normal. So you've got to take a look, like, well, what's really going on? Where is the root of the problem? And you find the root of the problem by asking deep dive questions that give you like a snapshot of your health and how your health is patterning out. We have 11 organ systems in our body. So if we look at the 11 organ systems and we map them out, then we can say, okay, you have high priority here because they're scored by my book, either a low, medium, or a high. You don't want high priority issues. You want them to be low, and if they start climbing up, if they're high part of low, then you want to say, like, maybe I should pay attention to that. And the reason for that is because who wants to wait till they're in crisis? It's just like, I can't, my girlfriend's mother 3 days ago, had a hard time breathing and she waited too long. She's dead today. She passed away today, unfortunately.
So
She's
sad.
such a lovely lady. But the thing is, like, there is something, was she paid attention like a week ago, and when she started to have issues for breathing, they could have done something a lot sooner to help her. Because there's sometimes that you definitely want to go to ER. There's certain times that when you're having a heart attack, when you're having a stroke, I'm the wrong person to come to. You need to go and have emergency care, and then get your diagnosis and come to me and I help you sort it out so that you can have the best life ever, given what you've got going. But I've got to have something to work with, and that's why I always say it's never too late. There's always something that you can do, no matter what.
Tell me a little bit about who would be perfect for this. I mean, you got two things. One is your practice, the other is your book. So, who is this ideal person that you would love to be speaking to?
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical.
I love these cartoons. So lead into it. So my ideal client are busy professionals. They're executives, they're leaders, they're influencers, they're moms, and there's dads. Who want to be stronger. They want to have more energy. They want to get more done in a day. They need to have more balance between work and home. They need to have better relationships. They need to have better relationships with themselves for self-care, let alone those people who they love and rely on them. And then have the energy, at the end of the day to be able to engage in them. Those are my ideal clients. It sounds like everybody, right? And,
Almost. But
almost.
I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost everybody, but there's also this specific, I don't know, for me, it's like this entrepreneurial mindset. This person is already willing to take risks. They just feel like they've plateaued at a certain point. And they, I heard somebody saying something the other day, Billy Jean says this all the time. He says, when you ask an entrepreneur if they have been in business for 5 years, have they been in business for 5 years, or have they been repeating the same year of business for 5 times? And that's the kind of that feeling that you get sometimes in entrepreneurship, because you're wearing so many hats. You have this feeling of if I let go of something, it's not going to work right. And so you're hesitant. And then you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again 5 years down the road, not making an improvement. And I feel like that's the person that you want to talk to, somebody who can, let's figure this stuff out from an entrepreneurial point of view. But at the same time, what are these habits that are you doing? All these stress points are creating other things. What are are you finding time to work out for yourself, to get your body in the right shape? Are you, because you're time consumed, are you eating all this processed food, these snacks that you need to take off of your menu? Like, I feel like all of it kind of aligns, doesn't it?
It does, and, unfortunately, like, I was on a different podcast about a month ago, and I asked the guy, so, well, let's talk about you, and I said, tell me about your day. And so, he gets up, grabs his coffee, gets in his car, and he doesn't eat until he gets home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And so when he gets home, he overeats. So when you overeat on that room, your body's like, starving. So you have a tendency to overeat, and then you go to bed, then you can't metabolize the food. So you gain weight. And if you're eating the wrong foods and putting the wrong foods together, then you're going to gain weight, or you're not going to digest your food, or you're going to have other gut problems. There's so many people today, they're overwhelmed, they're overworked, they're overstressed, they're not managing stress very well, and stress kills. Stress shows up like headaches and stomachs, my shoulder hurts, my back hurts, I'm not feeling very well, I don't have any mobility, I'm stiff every morning. It's like, well, what are you doing to get out of that rut? What are you doing? And you have to look like where is it that I need to start my health journey? So you've got to have some tools in your toolbox in order to help people. I have tools in my toolbox to help people get to that point. It's like, well, what is it? You always got to start with that very basic part, because people have a tendency to want the magic pill. But unfortunately, there's no magic pill, and there's no process that doesn't require time. So if somebody took 30 years or 40 years or 50 years to get in the shape that they're in, they're not going to get out of it necessarily in a couple months.
Yeah.
And people, have got to want to get healthy. They I always ask the question, are you interested in actually participating in being healthier? The answer is yes or no. If it's no, then I don't work with them. But then you have to be willing to do what it takes to be healthy. And that means that you might have to give things up that are killing you. I mean, for instance, I know the story of a woman who was bleeding, and there was always blood in her bowels for 10 years. And the doctors finally said, we don't know what else to do. I'm sorry, we're going to have to give you a bag. She goes, I've got 5 kids, and some of my kids are little. What do you expect me to do? Like, not play with them? And the doctors told her, you're right. And she said, I can't swim. You're right. And she goes, how am I supposed to be a good mother and not be able to participate with my children? And he said, ma'am, I'm just telling you, this is like the only option that you have at this point in time. So what happened is she said, I don't think so. And she went and searched. She ended up going to a colleague of mine. This is a true story. When I'm going to a colleague of mine, he goes, well, let's do a food test to see if you're having any allergies, to anything, or if you're having reactivity to something. Her highest score food that she needed to exnate out of her diet completely and never, ever, ever put it in her mouth again was avocados. Everyone thinks avocados are good for you. For her, they were killing her. Ultimately, she kept on bleeding. They would try something and it would work for a little while, then it stopped. So, and there's a lot of people, you always hear that, like your doctor tells you got high blood pressure, or you have some other thing. I'm taking over-the-counter drugs, and over-the-counter drugs are aspirin, things for inflammation. If you said yes to that, if you do that, my book is for you. I wrote that book especially for people like that who have difficulty sleeping. Sleep isn't, poor sleep is an epidemic in this country. And people are not getting the rest that they need to revitalize and repair and go into the future for that. When people don't know how to shut their mind off, there's things that people do in relationships that Einstein says is insane, because you keep on doing them over and again. Just like you just pointed out, for the business that keeps on doing the same business every year, and they're not getting any place in doing that. You've got to be willing to go out and talk about it. If you have a business, you got to be willing to go out and talk about it. You have to be willing to shake hands, and you have to be willing to say, put your, line on the butt, or your butt on the line. I think that butt on the line. Yeah. To say, I can help you. And if I can help you, I will send you to the person who can.
Yes.
I mean, how much better do you want it?
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Well, let's talk about how your business is growing. So, I mean, you have a book that's launching. You've been on a couple podcasts. You've been on my podcast. How are you getting customers? Like, what is, or better said, what has been your biggest problem? Is customer acquisition one of them?
I love your show. And customer acquisition is because what happened is that I sold my business back in the late 90s. And then I moved to
Congrats.
Boston. Thanks. And I moved to Boston. And then I had this idea that I wanted to go back to school because I've always wanted to study acupuncture and herbs, especially. So I found the school that I wanted to go to, and I moved out of Boston and went to the school. And people asked me when I was graduating, like, what are you going to do when you're done with this? And I said, I'm going to retire. I said, studying acupuncture and studying it in Chinese in the language in Mandarin is what I can't speak it, but I can like write my opinion, the things that, I was taught. But, so studying it, that burned my brain out. And, I did a 3-year program in 2 years. And,
Jeez.
and so getting, so what happened is that when I left my office, I left before computers were just coming out. So I didn't have an email list. And so at all. So I've been like, I'm going, well, how do you do this? How do you get back into marketing? Like, how do you get in front of the right people? And so the right people can hear you, and, I did some cold calling the other day to B companies, like B Corps.
Yes.
And I had the best experience when I was doing that because it's so in alignment. All these people, as far as climate control, sustainability, we have to have a sustainable, life here on Earth now for us, and we don't have it. We have a lot of threats going on. Like when we had COVID for 1 year, then we had Delta the next year, then we had Omicron, and now we've got the Ukraine. It's just like how much more stress do people get? And what they do is they go into their shell. And so I love to take challenges on. I love people's challenges, and I like to make them simplified and make them better so that they can get past them, so they can keep moving forward and get results that they want, tangible results. So you can change your life and you can change your situation. I have a kind of funny story. I don't know if you're going to think it's funny, but I hope you do.
Go for it.
I was in a grocery store. And when I was in this grocery store, I had I had broccoli in one hand and broccoli in the other hand. One was organic. One was the GMO kind that looks like broccoli. And this woman asked me why I was looking so pensive while I was looking at them. Because I was thinking, they really look alike. No wonder people are confused. They don't know which one to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, she goes, what are you thinking? And I said, I'm thinking these broccolis are just like dating. and she said, what do you mean? And I said, well, the GMO broccoli, I go, is the guy that takes you out, keeps you out through 2-3 o'clock in the morning, 11, 1 o'clock, and then, you have a couple drinks or maybe one too many, and then you crash and you go to sleep and you got to get up at 8 o'clock and go to work. You're exhausted. You're lucky if you can drive to work and see where you're going when you're going to work. And the other organic broccoli is the guy that likes to water walk and feed you, wants to make sure you eat only good food. Like when you're sleeping and you kick the covers off you, he's the guy that wakes up and puts the covers back over you, like, and kisses you on your cheek or your shoulder in the middle of the night. And you kind of realize it, but you never really wake up, but you just know it feels good. And it feels right. So that's my organic broccoli. So she said to me after I got done, I said, so what do you think? And she said, well, which one's the organic one? And she reached across and grabbed the organic one on me. She goes, get your own. and walked away. I thought it was so funny. I was laughing so hard. I laughed, I still tell that story like 8 months later. It was and it was recently within the last year it happened.
What you eat as well as, drinking a lot of water. Like for me, it's one of those things that has tremendously changed my life. I got sick once in like 2 years, and I just drink a lot of water. I feel like it's magic, almost like you get that feeling, whether maybe you did go out and actually drink too much water, helps out, fix that a lot quicker. I don't really do any dieting or anything like that. But one of the things I say is, if you're going to be bad, eat your bad, don't drink your bad. Like, for me, like drinking soda all the time or drinking any type of fruit juice, you're just pouring sugar down and it's so easy to consume. Versus like if you're going to be bad and have like a small piece of cake or something, I guess that's a little not as bad. I don't know. What do you think, Doc?
Well, I think that sugar is the root of all evil. And, and it's very addictive, like I said
Yes, it is.
before. And
Yes, it is.
so when people, it's like one of and it's funny that you bring this up. One of the things that every one of those pillars I talked about need is water. And
Yes.
so how you know how much water you drink as a minimum is 50% of your body weight in ounces. So if I weigh 150 pounds, I'd be drinking 75 ounces of water a day. So here's a trick, here's a pro bono. And so when people drink water, a lot of times they drink it out of the glass, well, they have it here and the glass hits their nose. When it hits their nose, they start to swallow, start to swallow air.
Air. Yeah.
When they swallow air, it makes their stomach kind of bloat. And, it's just like, and it's like, oh, it's like, I don't like the taste of water. I don't like this.
Hmm.
Well, you should never drink water from the tap because it has neurotoxins in it. You need to drink really good filtered water and preferably have a system that you can deliver it into a glass jar. Because when you drink plastic, water that's been, from the plastic bottles, especially those 16-ounce ones that are always sitting at a gas station in the sun, you don't want to have, you never want to drink those. You want the ones that are been in the shade. And you never want the extreme temperatures because that's when the plastics really leach into the water. So when you drink water that comes from plastic in plastic containers, you're drinking plastic and it doesn't leave your body.
Ugh.
So, and you have heavy metals in the air. It sounds very negative, but it's just what our environment is. And so there's ways to get heavy metals out of your system. There's only one supplement that I know that exists that is water soluble that can pass the gut barrier.
Which is?
Which is called Clear Drops. I sell it. The person who invented it is brilliant beyond all means. It collects all these heavy metals and other chemicals that we have in our systems, and it takes them out and they go into the toilet. The key is you got to have a good gut. So if you don't have a healthy gut, and you got things going on with your gut, you got to first check that first and then do the supplement and kick that supplement in while you're doing a detoxification program, which is really, in my world, tonifying the liver so it can do its job better. And it's easy to do as you're doing it with supplements and you're just picking, it's like foods that you like, but you're not picking the wrong foods and you're putting the foods together. So they're kind of ergonomically correct, so to speak.
So much good stuff. See, learning a little more every single day. All right, Dr. Pat, if people want to work with you, they want to come and maybe work one-on-one in person, or they want to get your book, what's that process like?
Thank you so much.
Tell me your sales process.
Well, how people get a hold of me is they tie in with me on LinkedIn, as we did, and they can reach out and private message me. They can also, they can go on my website, and there's on the contact page or on the front page of my website, there's a microphone on the bottom. You can get a hold of me that way. That message goes directly to my email, and then I'm able to respond back. You can also, get my book. That's going to be coming out. The digital is on the 10th. And if you're a digital type person, and the soft copy is on the 15th, it's being relaunched. It's the second edition. So it's upgraded. It has specific questions on the back so that you can find out whether or not this book is exactly for you. And that's on Amazon. That's the easy place to find it. But there's a link in there that ties into my calendar. So you can talk with me and say, Dr. Pat, what do these scores mean anyway? I mean, I don't get it. Or I do get it. And what do I have to do? So it shows you exactly where to start your health journey and where to pay attention and where to spend your time, energy, and money. So that's that. I'm on Instagram. I have, and I also have my personal Facebook page, which I use a lot more than I do my Facebook page. Did I just say that right backwards? My personal Facebook account and my health and my Dr. Pat page.
Business page.
And I also have a group called Be Stronger Than Medicine, which I just developed, and I had it for a little while, but I haven't, I've been looking, I had to make it a product that I have a DIY course that's called Be Stronger, be happier, be healthier, be vibrant than medicine. And that course is a DIY. It's a 4-week or 4-module course that people can do so they can find out what's the base information do I really have to know so I don't put the cart before the horse. And then when the horse is in front of the cart, I can sit in the seat. And then when I sit in the seat, I can actually take the reins because I have a clue about how to be accountable and how to move forward so I can be healthier, happier, and live, very abundantly. Everyone can do. There's always something you can do.
Yeah, that's it. And that's really, really what it begins with. So let me do this.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes down to your health. Like literally, you are in charge of what's going to happen in your day to day. Physically, I mean, the first thing you should do is take care of your body. You can't, it's like when you're in an airplane, right? And they tell you, make sure you put your mask on before you place a mask on somebody else. You can't take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself first and foremost. Drink the water you need to drink on a daily basis. Eat the food that you need on a daily basis. Get yourself aligned the way you need to. You do all those things and you're going to set yourself up for more success than you even know, because you're opening up your body to absorb some of that great energy that's on the outside. So guys, if you guys need help getting through any of that stuff, maybe you're stuck in a plateau, you feel like you're just repeating the same day over and over, like Groundhog Day, you need something else to push you forward. Make sure you guys go to healthteamnetwork.com, healthteamnetwork.com. Find out what Dr. Pat's up to. Schedule a little appointment with her. Have a conversation. And at the very least, pick up the book, because it's going to be launching there in the next couple of days on the digital version, healthteamnetwork.com, healthteamnetwork.com. All right, Dr. Pat, what'd you think? We're huge on video testimonials. What was your experience like on the show?
I loved it. I love your energy. I love the music. And, it's just, it was, I'm going to have a hard time going to sleep because it's 8 o'clock my time, so I'm up now. I'm ready to go. Fired up and ready to go.
Good. We got you the energy that you needed before you didn't need it, actually. No, I'm just playing. All right, well, Dr. Pat, no, thank you very much for being on the show. And one more question. You're starting to market your book. You're starting to do a lot of those marketing type things. What did you think of the marketing that we've done for our show? Everything from booking to reminders all the way through and, being on the show.
Oh, I loved it. I would recommend it for sure. I have a couple of friends of mine that I'm going to follow up with, that I was talking about you when I first met you, because I just loved it. It was let's do it, move forward, what's going on, and this is the best solution. And I'm very solution oriented. So it was really a great experience, and it was fun. And my motto is do good, have fun, and thrive. And that's what you can do here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Live life by design. I think I'm going to start saying that a lot more, because I really love that aspect of it. You're the architect. You get to design your life, whatever it is that you want it to be. Starts with you. All right, Dr. Pat, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys again. Mañana. Peace. And we're out.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with The Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz, and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz.